maintained her usual habit of requesting the committee to allow her respond in writing.
Send in writing.
What are you going to send?
All your questions, because this is not part of financial year 2020-2021.
It doesn't matter. Jennifer Bamturaki,
So,
I can ask you a question about something that happened in Uganda Airlines this morning.
yes, but
That's
you
our
see,
mandate.
I will not have prepared. You see, in your letter, you prepared us.
The committee notes that Indoja was pocketing in 13 million monthly for a period of 1 year with an upfront payment of 117 million. Nevertheless, the dates of the agreement vary as some signatures were backdated.
It was signed, the contract was signed in December 24th, 2021. We are in September 2022.
Thank you, Chair. The rest will respond in writing with all the details.
Chair, let us be serious.
Accordingly, COSASE committee chaired by Nakawa West MP Joel Senyonyi faulted the officials at Uganda Airlines of skipping procurement guidelines since the deal did not go through a competitive bidding. The airline's officials remained silent.
We'll give you all the things.
No, because you see you're on record here and remember you are on oath. Are you saying you hired these guys through a competitive bid, competitive process?
Did you discuss it as an airline? Where there are some meetings, be it procurement, be it managerial, be it administrative? We don't have the corporation secretary, who is a very senior lawyer, to escape it just by failing to sign when actually he attended the meeting and consented and maybe might have misled you.
A1 journalist Andrew Irumba has been cited as the lead driver of the online organization contracted by the national carrier and has received funds to the tune of 117 million. It is uncertain as to whether the financing of the agreement is derived from the consolidated fund.
And now 8 hours ago, this Andrew Irumba wrote saying unpacking dishonorable biological volumes occupying honorable positions in Uganda. It's talking about us. This is the work that you're paying him to do.
Although the MPs are waiting for Uganda Airlines to respond in writing as asked, the committee has concluded its sittings and is yet to present the report.
I see a lot of tension, and the witnesses may think that either we are looking for them as individuals, but I want to tell them that we are doing our work as a committee.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
That was at Parliament today. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has re-echoed the danger associated with land fragmentation, saying it's part of the hindrances to prosperity of the Ugandan people. According to President Museveni, the culture of subdividing land to children, especially when the owner dies, cannot support commercial agriculture, which is the backbone of Uganda's economy, as children will resort to selling off the land instead of collective investment. The president was speaking shortly after handing over certificates of customary land ownership to 1,537 families and communities in the northern Uganda, West Nile and Karamoja at a ceremony that took place at Ibuje Primary School in Apache district.
Thousands of families from West Nile, Karamoja and northern Uganda have been drawn into celebrations as government of Uganda has officially handed them certificates of customary ownership. Drawn from the districts of Apache, Maracha and Agago, the half-day Thursday convened at Ibuje Primary School in Apache district at an event presided over by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of Uganda, as the chief guest.
So I congratulate the Ministry of Lands for getting out of Nino and really solve this problem.
This milestone achievement is being spearheaded by the Ministry of Lands, working with other development partners.
Land tenure security is important on many accounts. First of all, land ownership is linked to the protection of the environment and the conservation of protected areas such as forests and wetlands.
I'm informed that families and communities have begun to engage in producing surplus food for sale, including growing palm tree, soya beans, cotton, sunflower, among others, knowing that no one will destroy their cash crops through the illegal land eviction.
According to the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, more customary titles are to be processed by government, targeting the registration of 27,500 families, 630 clans, and indigenous and vulnerable communities within the next 2 years.
Our target shall be to reach out to landowners in 35 districts in the country.
I encourage all those who have land and have not registered, please do register. Even women, please.
However, President Museveni, who committed himself on behalf of the government to this project, was quick to criticize land fragmentation happening in the area.
So this blindness of destroying what the parent did is dangerous, but not necessary even. Because you can actually divide in a very clever way. The property of the parent remains, it earns, you remove the expenditure, you share the profit, and you do your own things. This property can produce more properties.
President Museveni noted that this culture does not only hinder development, but also undermines the value for land and use.
I am really appealing to Ugandans that when we are making wills to our children, let's do what other people in advanced countries learned long ago. You can ask your guest there, the young lady from Denmark, how they handle inheritance in Europe. You can ask them quietly, you don't have to ask them here.
It is for this case that the president is encouraging Ugandans with large chunks of land to embrace intensive and extensive agriculture.
If I've got 1,000 acres, I get 800 million. So it's not true that tobacco doesn't have money, or that maize doesn't have money, or that cotton does not have money. It has money provided you do it on a big scale.
President Museveni also congratulated the people of Lango for taking palm oil growing seriously, joining those of Kalangala, Rakai, Mundibujo, Mayuge, saying they are going to help Uganda solve the problem of lack of soap. The president also hinted on irrigation, saying the government has a plan to introduce irrigation in the whole country and protect all the swamps as water catchment areas.
We are going to encourage everywhere in Uganda to take land, preserve the wetlands, don't interfere with the wetlands, and take water from the wetland to the land.
Your Excellency, we are grateful for government efforts to tarmac the Renkunya Patch Lira Road after several years of waiting.
The 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda provides under Article 237(1) and 3 that the land in Uganda belongs to the citizens of Uganda and shall be held under 4 tenure systems, which include customary, freehold, miro and leasehold tenure systems. Robert Onyango and Bernard Yiga for UBC News.
Members of Parliament have condemned the motion moved by the European Union Parliament to block the construction of Uganda's oil pipeline on allegations of environmental and human rights abuse. The MPs described the motion as unfair, saying that Uganda is a sovereign country whose independence should not be undermined. The condemnation was after the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Taiyewa, communicated to the House about the decision by the European Union Parliament.
According to the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Taiyewa, the European Parliament sat earlier this year to debate the oil pipeline for Uganda's crude oil that is to be constructed from Uganda to Tanzania. The EU Parliament resolved that the 1,445-kilometer crude oil pipeline should be blocked from being constructed over environmental concerns and human rights violations by Uganda. The motion further recommends the EU members not to provide any diplomatic or financial support to the project. During the Thursday sitting, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Taiyewa, condemned the move by the EU Parliament, terming it the highest form of economic racism against Uganda and Africa at large.
Because these are projects which were approved by the Parliament of Uganda, the Parliament of a sovereign country, and anything to do with challenging their approval, including some which are embedded in laws that were passed by this House, is an affront to the independence of this House, and we cannot take it lying low. I condemn this motion and resolution that was passed, which calls on Uganda and Tanzania to stop the development of the oil and gas project in the East African region.
The Deputy Speaker urged the EU Parliament to withdraw the motion.
It is prudent to say that Uganda's oil projects will exacerbate climate change. Yet it is a fact that the EU bloc with only 10% of the world's population is responsible for 20% of global emissions. And Africa, with 20% of the world's population, is only responsible for 3% of global emissions. The European Union and other Western countries are historically responsible for climate change. Not Africa, not Uganda, not East Africa.
The Deputy Speaker was backed by various members of Parliament from different political parties, but this time speaking the same language of urging the EU MPs to respect Uganda's sovereignty as a state.
Mr. Speaker, Uganda is not part of the European Parliament. Uganda is part of IALA. We have our East African Parliament.
I want first of all to express my dismay that another parliament somewhere can rise up to take a decision on behalf of a parliament which is seated in the right place. I thought this was the right parliament because these are the right issues for us to discuss. Right, Honorable Speaker, there are two issues that those people can do. One, come and help us to deal with the issues that you feel we have not dealt with in terms of managing the environment.
Others termed the move as a neo-colonial issue that Ugandan Parliament should resist.
There is actually totally nothing to fear when it comes to environmental issues. But we know very well historically that several cities of Europe are built on the blood and sweat of the African people. This is our time also to elevate ourselves from the neo-colonialism status that we are left in. Nobody should touch the oil project because we are talking about an investment of over $20 billion. No one in this parliament and outside should entertain any discussion that frustrates the extraction of our oil and gas.
The State Minister for Regional Affairs, John Mulumba, pledged to take the matter to the Cabinet for further management.
Speaker, I'll beg for your indulgence to escalate the same to us as Minister of Foreign Affairs and guided by the principles and purposes which are enshrined in the United Nations Charter on Equality of Sovereign States for maintenance of international relations, peace and security. We will study and be able to give a guided response.
Philip Aguta, UBC News in Parliament.
The Bishop of Namirembe Diocese, the Right Reverend Wilberforce Chitolu Walida, has expressed need for believers to renew their trust and confidence in Jesus as they remember the life of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. This was while he led the special service of commemoration of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth at St. Paul Cathedral, Namirembe.
The British High Commission, the British community in Uganda, political leaders, members of opposition political parties and the Buganda Kingdom have gathered at St. Paul Cathedral Namirembe to attend the special service of commemoration for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The fallen Queen breathed her last Thursday last week, and a number of activities have been held for Her Majesty's decent and befitting send-off. The first and second readings were followed by the activity of laying of the wreath in front of the picture of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth that had been displayed for the congregation to eulogize.
This day to remember before God the late Sovereign Lady Queen Elizabeth, to renew our trust and confidence in Christ, and to pray that together we may be one in Him, through whom we offer our prayers and praises to the Father.
The British High Commissioner to Uganda, His Excellency Kate Eyre, said the world can draw comfort in Her late Majesty's dedicated service, emphasizing that her death will give Uganda and England opportunity to reflect on their relationship as they continue to bond together.
It's this unity that brings us here today, whether we are from the UK or Uganda or elsewhere in the world, whether we are Christian, Muslim, Hindu or other faiths. We can all draw comfort and encouragement from Her Majesty's unstinting and devoted service.
The Minister for Foreign Affairs, General Haj Abubakar Jejodong, said Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II was so inspiring and leaves a lot to aspire for.
Though Her Majesty has passed on, she continues to live amongst us by virtue of what she stood for and by virtue of the acts she performed. She leaves us with a legacy to aspire to.
The Speaker of the Buganda Lukiiko, Patrick Luwaga, said despite the challenges the late Queen encountered during her 70-year reign, she fully embraced responsibility as a leader.
Elizabeth's duties, she was faced with challenges many times, and her reaction to them clearly indicated that she fully appreciated that responsibility. That responsibility required leaders to find solutions to those challenges, as opposed to being held back by them or even lamenting about them. As such, the Queen gave the world lessons of leadership, call of duty, commitment, personal sacrifice, and courage.
The late Queen Elizabeth II visited Uganda in 2007 during the Commonwealth Heads of State meeting, and she will be remembered for the consistency in defending the Anglican way of life. I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisya at Namirembe.
First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has reaffirmed government's first commitment to enhance vocational training. The minister's message was in a speech read for her by Safina Nachowe, the Deputy Director, Qualifications and Standards at the Directorate of Industrial Training in Iganga District.
The government is committed to ensure many Ugandans, especially the youth, acquire skills. The First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, represented by Safina Nachowe, hailed local governments for mobilizing and encouraging the population to embrace vocational training and skills development programs.
I commend the efforts of the Directorate of Industrial Training towards availing opportunities to all Ugandans to have their skills assessed and certified, and then the efforts of all they have resulted into this occasion that we are witnessing and celebrating today.
This was during the graduation for vulnerable girls and the launch of the campaign to popularize the competence-based curriculum in Iganga District. The Director General, Banana Industrial Research and Development Center, Reverend Dr. Florence Isabidya Muranga, calls on government to set up skills center and equip them with human resource and equipments.
If government can use experiences that they've learned from elsewhere and forge a way that is going to accompany these departments that they've set up, because departments themselves do not establish the entrepreneurship. It is the centers that support the skilling that are going to do it.
National Association of School Community ICT Outreach, in partnership with the Ministry of Education and Sports, through career opportunity and lifelong skills development, trained the youth during the lockdown of COVID-19 pandemic.
And we have been training them, giving them life skill activities such that they can sustain themselves. And we are interested in working alongside the government to make sure that children that go to school do not leave the school with empty hands.
The chairperson, Head Teachers Association in Iganga District, Waiswa Godfrey, says the new lower secondary curriculum is more practical and user-friendly.
It takes a few minutes to give birth to a child, but it can take a lifetime to keep introducing that child to its true self. The implementation of DIT programs is a basic initiator of the children to introduce themselves to the true selves as they are. And it is at this moment that I want to thank and congratulate the graduates today who are officially receiving their papers, that thank you for having been introduced to your true self.
I'm Nafka Farida and Ganga Henry.
Government has been tasked to tighten legislation to regulate the access and use of nudity and pornography. Sheikh Mohammed Ali Waiswa, the bearer of this argument, says that free access and use of nudity and pornographic content has and continues to fuel the spread of sexually transmitted diseases such as HIV and AIDS. This was during the rollout of the National HIV/AIDS Action Plan for Faith Sector, a tool envisaged to, among others, propel efforts that are geared at reducing the spread of HIV/AIDS in Uganda.
Since the emergence of the HIV and AIDS scourge in the 1980s, Uganda has been championing efforts aimed at reducing or even stopping its spread. Faith-based organizations are some of the key partners credited for offering collaborative efforts in the struggle.
Religious leaders here, we know that the fight started from you, and you led the first home care centers and hospitals in the country.
We acknowledge the importance of engaging faith leaders and communities, so we have allocated core funding to support activities with evidence for success in increasing case finding, linkage, and continuity of services.
To further heighten the advocacy, a national HIV and AIDS action plan for the faith sector in Uganda has been rolled out.
It's time for us to use our platforms, to use our goodwill. We follow you a lot. We listen to you. Every Sunday when I go to church, I sit on those pews, and whatever the preacher says, I take it down with a lot of seriousness. And I know that's what the rest of the community does. So today we are charging you and saying, this is an action plan that we can support, that you can utilize to roll out.
At the event, the second Deputy Mufut, Sheikh Muhammad Ali Waiswa, singled out poverty, unemployment, coupled with changing trends like long-distance relationships as key drivers of extramarital affairs.
Because each one really keeps on trusting the other, but ideally no one knows what transpires in the midst. I don't know what can be done. I think part of this meeting should find out how we can be able to assist such people. But in the whole, we call upon them to always test before they meet up again, because possibly that may help them to reduce the infections.
Sheikh Muhammad Waiswa also registered with concern the unregulated nudity and pornographic content, blaming it for fanning moral decadency, a catalyst for the spread of HIV and AIDS. It is against this backdrop that the meeting called for a regulation as well as heightened collaborative efforts in the fight to check the spread of HIV and AIDS.
There is no law that combats them in our country. That's why you find them elsewhere. You see the vivandas, on veranda, you find these nude pictures, and therefore we call upon the government to strengthen the approach towards this and not to be permissive. Acts like the nyege, I think the kind of things that are going to drive us further into the infections of HIV/AIDS.
According to statistics, Uganda recorded a 61% decline in the AIDS-related deaths from 56,000 in 2010 to 22,000 in 2020. And with the rollout of the National HIV and AIDS Action Plan for the faith sector in Uganda, a drastic drop in these statistics is visible. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
October Bidel Musaba Gardens Mukono, October Mukaga Millennium Gardens Saziwaya, October Munanaji Montelembara, 15 October, 40 Poto Muchisawe, Abidim Bi October, Bale Sports Center, Umtual Komo, Yebem Tuale Santo, a meza million yemo, Wababa Tual Kumia, Abana tickets of Akosa M10 Momo, Banjagosa Sulan Comitano, Binamina Romo Center, Hiva Motors, Galaxy FM, Radio 4, Kawina War, TN. Saba Furu Baramo.
Cooking with electricity is now affordable. Cook your beans. Avoid smoke.
Sayaka. Cooking with electricity is now so affordable with the Fumba tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority. With the Fumba tariff, you can now buy up to 70 units of Yaka at a reduced price of 412 Uganda shillings per unit after consuming your first 80 units of the month. For more information, contact the Electricity Regulatory Authority on 0200 506 000.
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You say I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just say to register.
What's going on here?
He sells things from the shop, and behind my back, he gets the money and gives it to his girlfriends.
But just get Airtel Money Pay so that all money comes direct to your business wallet, and only you, the owner, have access to it.
Just dial *185 *10 hash, and now you are on. No waiting. Huh? This insanity is sweet. Give them also.
I only take Airtel Money Pay. It's easy and secure.
Yes, become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy.
No mixing your business money with your Kameza money. No, that's efficient.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show, because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed, and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions, plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Vimba! Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Be alert. Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
The Justice Center for Children has launched a Judiciary Child Center at Fort Portal Court to protect the rights of children.
According to the senior resident judge at Fort Portal Court, children have been fearful to testify in courts due to lack of safe spaces.
The problem is that some of them have had a big challenge face to face the perpetrators of these crimes. If you put the perpetrator of the crime there and the child here, sometimes it is not easy for them to come out and open up on what happened. But now, in that kind of environment where they are not seeing this person very closely, they will be able to open up and give their evidence better.
Due to intimidation, gathering of evidence on juvenile-related cases has been a challenge.
When they are committing these offenses on them, most of them are threatened never to say anything. So now at the time when they face this perpetrator and they remember the threats that were given, they will not be able to open up, and we have had those challenges.
With child care centers in place, children privacy will be maintained.
In most cases, you might find that many cases have been lost in that way because the child fears giving evidence. That's why such initiatives have been made, such investments have been made to be sure to be able to get the necessary information that is needed from a child for the dispensation of justice.
The center caters for space for children witnesses under 18 years testifying in court through audio-visual system, space for breastfeeding witnesses and judicial officers, a playing corner and reading space for juveniles.
With this center, the child will be free, will not see the offender face to face, but will be able to give information that will be necessary for the dispensation of justice.
There are those who have witnessed crime, they will be able to come and testify. There are those who are victims of crime, they will be able to come and testify. But there are also those who have been charged as juveniles, and we do not want to expose them.
Fort Portal is a fifth court where a child care center is implemented after Mbarara, Gulu, Mayuge and Bale. The Judiciary intends to establish 300 child care centers at all courts countrywide.
In failing the development of the municipality, the 48-year-old municipality has limited administrative offices. The Municipal Town Council, the Municipal Town Clerk Vincent Okrut, says that over 5 billion shillings is needed to address the administrative office challenge.
Moroto Town Board was awarded municipality status in 1974 by the former President Idi Amin Dada. In 1974, it is sited on 5 square kilometers with a population of 19.421 by 2020. It borders Matheniko County, Katikekire Sub-County East, Rupert North and Nanduget to the south of Moroto District. It has 2 divisions of North and South. 48 years down the road, the municipality still harbors numerous challenges, from the limited number of staff and offices to poor garbage management, among others.
Here the offices are currently housed, as you see, is within the district headquarters.
There's a lot of garbage around. Garbage management starts at the household level. We all have to play with the stakeholders. We all contribute to that waste management. Mindset change of the community is also a challenge. I would also love that the partners come on board and support us in mindset change. So
there is less development compared to other municipalities, as some of the revenue sources are depleted buildings.
That was where we built put lockups. We also have Junior Quarters Estate. We have also Kitale Quarters Estates.
As we go ahead as a council to try to review, come up with a policy on how we are going to manage those estates in view of the fact that a number of buildings are actually in a solar state.
Last financial year, Moroto Municipal Council had a revenue projection of over 600, but only 200 million was collected.
618 million, and what was collected was 260 million, 196, 222. That shows alone that there is a problem.
Although Moroto municipality will attain city status by 2025, many people don't follow municipal structure plans.
Our people, attitude of our people towards following the procedures of approvals, plans, they are seeing it as money being paid to council, not looking at it as one of the policies that will help them during the development.
Relatedly, it's a council sitting and the sessions is held in a municipal council library, which appears too small to accommodate the 26 councillors and the technical people. Mayor Muhammad and Moroto Municipality Town Clerk Vincent Okurut decry limited finances to develop the municipality.
You know, the resource allocation in this country is based on certain parameters: population, poverty index. We are looking at the area, so that contributes. So we were at a disadvantage when it comes to resource allocation. So we need affirmative action for this municipality.
Groot is optimistic that by next financial year, a construction of 5 billion shillings administrative offices will kick off.
We want to revise the structural plans that we made some years back and produce better ones that fit the current standards and then have them approved. So hopefully next financial year 2023-2024 we should be starting construction of the offices. Looking at a project of 5 billion shillings.
Moroto District Resident George William Wopua cautioned district civil servants over embezzlement of government funds.
Accountability of funds. On 20th July 2022, I handed over some matters to police for investigations. And this was arising from the third quarter of 2021. We had over 450 million shillings which were released for public funds, for service delivery, but people have not accounted for them. After almost a financial year, I think to everybody to ensure that whatever money you get, you account for it.
Employers in Uganda are urged to adopt modern technologies to build resilience in the current dynamic business environment. The Executive Director of the Federation of Uganda Employers, Douglas Opio, while at the first ever Employers Conference, tipped employers on how technology can be improved and also improve productivity.
Those white cards.
The first ever Employers Conference centered on the principle of enhancing resiliency of employers.
How do you optimize your cost? How do you ensure that your operation is set in a manner that you're able to increase your revenue significantly? Secondly, the issue of financial management. How are the finances of your organization managed? How do you ensure that things are actually being done the right way? The other is the issue of reputation. How do you protect the reputation of your business?
Adapting to new technologies in the business operations is recommended for increased productivity and instant monitoring at work.
This question of being able to utilize digital tools and having the skills to do that, we found that that is an area of weakness. Not enough or very few employers or very few companies were really very strong on utilizing technology via digital systems.
In the conference, the current state of employers and employees survey indicated elements of exclusivity, which warrants employers' urgent attention.
The issue of employees with disabilities, as well as the issue of sexual reproductive health and gender equity or gender equality. Those issues we found that most companies were struggling.
Workers are urged to join workers' unions to attract support and other emergencies at work. Minimum wage is one of the emergencies in the current employer-employee relationship.
We can have sectoral minimum wage. For example, you people in the media may not necessarily have the same minimum wage with people in hotels. So if we can agree and have sectoral minimum wage, that's the way to go for us. But we cannot continue like this without a minimum wage.
Stakeholders in the labour sector have committed on matters of fair recruitment, treatment and developing skills at work through occupational assessment. Abdul Nasser Lukoma and Marion Awori, UBC News.
In business, dealers in plastics have started nursing losses following the impact of the 40% tax levy on each kilogram of plastics and plastic pellets. Packed along Kiraka Sangati Road, dealers in the plastic pellets in a peaceful demonstration have threatened to take further action if the 40% tax is not revised.
Last month, Parliament passed the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2022, which levied a 40% tax on each kilogram of plastic and plastic pellets. The levy accordingly intended to streamline taxation of plastic products and use of plastics, but also gradually phase out the manufacture and usage of plastic in the country. However, the impacts of the levy have become visible, with dealers of plastic stranded with the tons of plastic pellets and granules after recyclers halted their purchase. In a peaceful demonstration, dealers in plastic have asked government to revise its decision on the 40% tax levy.
Revenue has increased. UNBS has increased. Now, most of these investors, they are just stranded. They want at least to use these virgin materials.
Nino sasula looni ze mama ze tata tuyina okulya abaana tebasoma na kati bakyali waka ngenda balisa ki
abantu abali ekiteezo 100 abantu abakuŋŋaanya ebiveera bino embala abantu 8 abantu abo bonna tugenda bazaawa neddibiridde kati saawa zino n'ennyumba bagitwala buli wamu sirina wensula abaana bange kati basula ku nsiko tibasomye.
Their demonstration comes after the initial buyers of these plastics halted the purchase due to the high costs. It is not clear whether these recyclers and manufacturers are adjusting to the gradual closure of their plastic businesses.
Right now, these investors who are here, they have refused to buy our things. That's why you see that most of the vehicles are parked here. Some are from Mbale, from Vududa, from Sironko. Some are from Kampala here, some are from Ruweru. Now we are stranded.
Abana kutwala mwana kati factory kibagamba recycling ya Pepsi eliwa batukolera covid. Ne wama musebe. Webale tukusima naye etekano libatuve byatufera simayisaininga bino tugende tukoleki kati fa bawansi tunakola tutya
kyetusaba balema okubateekako omusolo omungi kubanga abantu bano batuwadde emirimu kyetulowooza nti n'owekitiibwa president yali alowooza nti recycling bwenejja eneeyongera emirimu mu ggwanga kubanze kakati ndi musuubuzi naye nina abakozi abalala 30 abali emabega wange ate ne bannange era abasuubuzi abalala nabo balina abakozi be bakozesa mu buli muntu nga bw'asobola.
If President Museveni assents to this Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2022, several plastic manufacturing and recycling factories will face closure, and an estimated number of over 70,000 beneficiaries will likely lose their jobs.
Everywhere we go, where we always sell these things, they are not buying them.
Nonetheless, plastics can be harmful to the environment if not well managed. Susan Naong and Andrew Sebira reporting for UBC TV.
Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, nga you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello. Is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees.
Select to pay using Bridge Schools, School Pay or Beg Pay.
Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
It's better to foster respect instead of fear and pain.
Cause a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Stay connected on the largest 4G network in Uganda using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi at only 75,000 Uganda shillings. It comes with 15 GBs free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 of your friends and family at a go. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today or call 0800 333 330 for free delivery within Kampala. Dial *175 *9# to activate free 15 GBs. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Uganda Investment Authority, URA, is holding the Chigazi Investment Summit on Saturday, September 24th, 2022. The venue of the Chigazi Investment Summit is Kisonso Industrial and Business Park in Chibaya, Rukundo Town Council, Kisoro District. The Chigazi Investment Summit is aimed at promoting and attracting relevant investment projects, both domestic and foreign, for local economic development of Chigazi region, comprising of the districts of Kabale, Rukunjiri, Kanungu and Kisoro. The theme of the Chigazi Investment Summit is Mobilization of Domestic Investment for Prosperity and Regional Integration. The guest of honor will be the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Matia Kasaija. Follow the conversation live on UBC television and on the hashtag #InvestInChigazi.
Oh, they look nice.
Thank you, honey.
Yo!
You guys gather, it's going down. Gather! Gather! Yo!
I tell you what.
Yo!
Yo!
Airtel is giving you bigger data bundles for the same price. Dial *175# to choose from our range of bigger Chillax bundles that don't expire. Bigger monthly bundles, all for the same price. And stay connected longer to loved ones. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Uganda men's national cricket team, the Cricket Cranes, have defeated Botswana by 7 wickets to emerge victorious in their maiden group game in the ongoing Africa Cricket Association T20 Africa Cup Challenge. The Cricket Cranes were elected to bowl first, limiting Botswana to 103 runs against 8 wickets in the first innings. In the second innings, the Cranes did not hold, overtaking the score in the 18th over by 4 runs to make it 107 runs against 3 wickets. Senior debutant Alpesh Ramjani was pivotal during the bowling, making 4 wickets in 17 balls, whereas Simon Sesazi and Reizat Ali contributed 37 and 36 runs respectively in batting. Uganda will play Mozambique in their next game, slated for the 18th of September 2022.
Good to start the tournament with a win. It was important for us to hit the ground running. We had not played a T20 game in a while, so you know it's something we had talked about. We needed to go out there and execute our KPIs again.
I thought the bowlers were very good this morning to restrict Botswana to 104. Maybe not so good in execution at the back end, but it's something we can keep working on. And I thought we showed calmness on not the easiest wicket to play on. It's still early season in South Africa, so very dry and a bit too paced, but I thought the guys showed a lot of maturity in the way they handled it. And we're looking forward to giving different opportunities to different players over the next couple of games and making sure that we start building that depth and experience for our squad. Very good debut by Alpesh, 2 debutants today. Alpesh picking up 4 wickets. I thought it was very good.
It feels good to be the part of this team. This team has a glory of winning the matches. For me, it was to contain the runs, and and that is how I got my wickets.
That brings us to the end of all we had for you. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukoma. We'll leave you with Millie Kutesa here, who has the weather forecast update.
Thanks for tuning on UBC. My name is Millie with your weather update. Thunder showers are dominating most parts of the country, mainly along lake shores and some western part of our region. This is due to the rainbow rise over the central part of Africa, including our country, Uganda, in combination with moist winds that are blowing from Indian Ocean towards our country, bringing those thunder showers that we're experiencing lately. And this brings in a question to the people staying near mountainous areas and around mines. Please stay cautioned and stay in safer places, because this rainfall is expected to continue for almost the second few days. Tomorrow morning, though, we expect to wake up with thunder showers in the central part of Uganda, but in the western part of our region, we expect to wake up with sunny intervals, and the western part of our country is expected to have sunny intervals still, apart from Masindi, where we're seeing light isolated showers. But in the northern part of our country, some parts of it is going to have light isolated showers, apart from some Kotido and Moroto, where we are seeing sunny intervals. After a while, we expect a pick-up of thunder showers in the central part of our region. Temperature to reach up to 26 degrees Celsius across Kampala, but the rest of the place with 27. Eastern part of our country with thunder showers at maximum 29 degrees Celsius. Apart from Jinja, we are seeing a 28. And the western part of our country, sunny intervals, some parts of Mbarara and Kabale, but the rest with light isolated showers at a maximum 27 degrees Celsius across Masindi, and the rest of the place 28. And Kabale Highlands with the lowest of 21 degrees Celsius. Northern part of our country with light isolated showers at a maximum of 29 degrees Celsius across Kotido, but the rest of the place with 28 degrees Celsius. Moving out of Uganda, visiting a few cities across the globe, you're having thunder showers across Nairobi at a maximum of 25 degrees Celsius, New York with sunny conditions, and Cairo at a maximum of 23 degrees Celsius across New York, 32 across Cairo, London with cloudy conditions at a maximum of 17 degrees Celsius. Thanks for tuning on UBC. My name is Kutesa Millie. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Acha nikupongeze kwa Airtel Uganda.
Bunyoro! The mother of all parties is here! President Yoweri Museveni's birthday after party, the first ever in Masindi district. The organizing committee of the president's visit calls upon all people to come and welcome our dear president as we thank him for all the works he has done for the people of Bunyoro. On the 17th of September 2022, the president will launch Radio 7 for the Kabarega region, welcomed by religious leaders, members of parliament, and the local leaders of the region. Live performances and dance till dawn, courtesy of Balam Sounds. Come, let's welcome our president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, with a bang at Golf Course Masinde, powered by Balam Marketing Agency, Radio 7, and UBC TV. Come, let's party!
This week on UBC.
So this product, it is a 125cc model which comes with a 5th gear, better speed, better performance, and is obviously for the motorcycle is being used by the entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs. So it obviously, the fuel saving is very important, and with the rise in the cost of the fuel, so this is a very fuel efficient motorcycle.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukoma.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Professional guidance.
There is no special antiretroviral therapy that is given specifically for discordant couples.
And of course, politics.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for Anita Monga and Tayebo?
That is laughable. Why would we pay when we have nominated them as SEC?
Every party has been represented in Uganda's parliament for 10 years. We only by one MP, you yourself and my daughter, Susan.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's One-on-One with Michael Jordan Lukoma on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
This week on UBC.
It's the freak himself, DJ Santos, the problem.
Oh my God! So I'm back to the studio, Chimney Records.
From the blues to the streets of Africa, DJ Santos. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at DJ Santos 256.
Can you play that song? Set the mood for me. Hallelujah, let's go!
Man, what's a weekend without entertainment? To be boring, right?
It would be a weekend without a vibe. There has to be a vibe. And what better vibe than
Horizon Vibe.
Hey, let's go! Everybody, let's go! Everybody, let's go! Come on now, give it to me. Hey!
True story, man. From the crew to the vibers, we bring you nothing but good vibes.
Trying to get a payday in my state. We all trying to save face in the day. It's always a day letting KLA. Kabara muri mutia. Kigali beat weather.
from celebrity interviews.
The song Bikwasagwa I did with Shina Skies, I mean, that was a prayer to me.
Video premieres. It's okay. Turn-up sessions.
And if you're looking at fighty, I saw me to look. Gelato, oh baby, sumoyo, baby, kona, waka waka when you enter Malicha.
Exclusives and so much more on your #1 TV show.
Yo, this is not the usual music. A horizon vibe.
Bringing you nothing but freshness. There is no vibe like.
This weekend on UBC.
It has been estimated that at least 20% of the young people are capable of becoming great entrepreneurs. Now, Sesanga Issa has actually tapped into his golden time.
In one way or the other, I've been a hustler, I've been an entrepreneur since my vacation.